Welcome back to part 2 of the video where I'm going over areas in Calgary where I would tell my own family to buy and where to avoid. If you missed part 1, check that out. I'll put the link for it below. Go and look. Maybe there's an area in there that you are interested in and you want to see, or one that you didn't know about and you definitely want to make sure you go and check that out for yourself. So without further ado, again, I'm Joel Borsos with First Call Realty Services. Let's jump right into it. Okay, the Northeast. And I need you to actually listen to this one because this is the district I think gets dismissed the most unfairly and is costing buyers real money. Taradale, Martindale, Saddle Ridge, Cityscape, Redstone, Cornerstone, Skyview. The Northeast is the most culturally diverse district in Calgary and one of the fastest growing in terms of new development. And the food, I'm going to say this clearly. You want the best South Asian food in Western Canada, you are driving to the Northeast anyway. At some point, you're starting to think, why am I driving here from Tuscany when I could just live here? Here's what the data actually says. The Northeast has the lowest detached benchmark price in Calgary, excluding the East District. At $563,900, it has 4.18 months of supply, which is more balanced to buyer territory than you'll find in the Northwest, South, or the West End. You have time to get conditions on your offer. You have room to negotiate. You're not walking into a bidding war at $563,000. Here's the truth about the Northeast that the reputation hides. Newer Northeast communities like Cornerstone, Redstone, and Cityscape are genuinely nice. New builds, modern designs, good community layout, they're building out fast. The schools and amenities in the newest pockets are still catching up, and that's what's worth knowing. But it also means you're buying ahead of full infrastructure, which historically rewards patient buyers. The honest caveat, apartment condos in the Northeast are a different conversation. At a benchmark price of $260,000 and almost 8 months of supply, prices down 13% year over year. If you're buying a condo in the Northeast expecting appreciation, the data doesn't support that right now. Detached in the Northeast, different story. Condo in the Northeast, proceed with eyes wide open. Who's it for? First-time homebuyers who want detached and need the most accessible price point. Investors with a 5 to 10 year horizon who want to buy ahead of community build out. Newcomers to Canada who already have family and community ties in the Northeast. Who should look elsewhere? Condo buyers expecting near-term appreciation. People who need to be close to the southwest or south end of Calgary for work. The geography works against you. Now the East. Forest Lawn, Dover, Erin Woods, Vista Heights. Let me be straight with you. The East doesn't have great PR. It's not going to show up in the top 10 coolest areas in Calgary. But here's what the East has. The only detached benchmark in Calgary that's still under $500,000. And if you want a detached home in the city, a real house with a yard, and your budget is under $500,000, the East is the only place that conversation is still happening inside city limits. Forest Lawn is an older, established area with character. People who bought there 15 years ago are not complaining. The East is close to downtown, actually closer than a lot of southern suburbs people line up for. There is a genuine value here for the right buyer. Now, here is where I'm going to stop before you get any great ideas. The East row home market is a different universe. At a benchmark price of just over $273,000, down 11.5% year over year, with almost 20 months of supply, this means at the current pace of sales, it would take almost 2 years to sell all the row home inventory in the East District. If you are buying in the East row home area as an investment property, That number should stop you cold. Detached in the east, real value for the right buyer. Row homes in the east right now, a deeply oversupplied market with no near-term recovery signal in the data. Who's it for? Entry-level buyers who want a real house and are willing to live in an area that's more working class and less Instagram. Long-term holders who believe in the area's proximity to downtown and its underlying value. First-time buyers who want to get in the market without spending their entire life savings and all their parents' money. Who should look elsewhere? Anyone planning to flip or sell in under 3 to 5 years, especially in a row or condo product. The inner city, Kensington, Inglewood, Bridgeland, Mission, the Beltline, 17th Avenue, Hillhurst, Sunnyside, Eau Claire, Calgary's most walkable, most animated, most I genuinely don't need a car district, and the home of what I think is the most misunderstood split in Calgary's real estate right now. Because the city center has two completely different markets happening simultaneously. And buying in the wrong one without understanding that this is an expensive mistake. Now, market number one, inner city detached homes. At a benchmark price of $985,500 and 2.88 months of supply, character homes, older lots, the kind of places that take genuine work but reward you with soul and location. This market is relatively balanced and has held up. If you want a detached home and urban access is your priority, inner city Calgary is compelling. You're close to work, you can walk to restaurants, your commute is a bike ride. Market number two, inner city condos with a benchmark price of just over $300,000, down 9.49% year over year, and 5.42 months supply. This is a buyer's market. There's choice, there's time, and there is negotiating room. If you're buying a condo in the inner city, you are in the driver's seat right now. Use it, get conditions, negotiate hard. But here's the truth I want you to sit with. The inner city condo market is not a place where you're going to buy in 2026 and have meaningful appreciation in 2 or 3 years based on where the data sits right now. You're buying a lifestyle, and that lifestyle is real. Walkability, culture, energy, no car required. If that's worth the price, you plan to be there for 5+ years, it makes sense. If you're buying it as an investment expecting fast appreciation, the current supply numbers don't support that thesis. The honest catch. The inner city is for people who genuinely believe they don't need a backyard, don't want to cut grass, and think that a rooftop patio counts as outdoor space. Half of those people will discover they miss having a yard within 3 years. Be honest about who you actually are. Now, who is it for? Young professionals who work downtown or in nearby industries, empty nesters who raise their families in the suburbs and want to trade the house for the lifestyle, condo buyers who are genuinely planning to live there long term and understand the current market. Who should look elsewhere? Buyers with kids who need yards and school zones. Anyone buying a condo expecting short-term appreciation. People who tell themselves they're urban but also spend every weekend at Home Depot buying things for projects. You're a suburb person. Just own it. Okay, this is the part of the video I wasn't sure I should make, but it's also the most useful part. Based on the current data, here are the specific situations to avoid. I'm not saying these districts are bad. I'm saying certain buyer types in certain products in certain districts are walking into a difficult situation right now and nobody's telling them. The first thing to avoid, East District row homes if you're buying as an investment or planning to sell in under 5 years. With almost 20 months of supply and down 11.5% year over year, this is the most oversupplied product in any district in Calgary right now. The data is not pointing toward near-term recovery. The second major thing to avoid: inner city apartment condos if you're expecting short-term appreciation. 5.42 months of supply, prices down 9.5% year over year. Great lifestyle buy, poor short-term investment thesis right now. Number 3 major thing to avoid: Northeast apartment condos if you're buying for investment. 7.94 months of supply, prices down 13% year over year. The worst apartment supply reading of any district in the city. Avoid number 4: the West if your finances require everything to go perfectly. At $1 million plus with 1.77 months of supply, you may end up being in a bidding war at the top of your budget. That's a stressful place to buy a home. Now, the last thing I wanted to add in is the underrated move and something you might need to really analyze and see if it suits you. Northeast homes in the detached market. 563,900 benchmark price and 4.18 months of supply. The most unfairly dismissed value in the Calgary market right now. New communities, negotiating room, lowest detached price inside city limits outside of the east. The data supports it. The reputation doesn't. And the reputation might be wrong. That's for you to decide. Now, here's what I told my cousin. I told her, your answer depends entirely on what your actual life looks like. What do you do for work? Where do you spend your weekends? Do you have kids or are they coming? What's your actual budget? Not the one you tell yourself, the real number. Do you need to build equity fast or are you thinking long term? Because Calgary has a neighborhood for all that. It is genuinely one of the most livable cities in Canada. No provincial income tax, mountain access, a job market that didn't collapse with the oil price because it's not all just oil anymore. Prices that still are meaningfully lower than Toronto and Vancouver. The fundamentals here are real. But the right districts is different for every person. And the mistake I see people make is falling in love with a neighborhood that looks good on Instagram without asking where it actually fits their life. If you want to have that conversation about your specific situation, what you actually need, what the data says about the areas you're considering, and what the realistic budget looks like in today's market, that's exactly what I do. I'm Joel Borsos with First Call Realty Services. Book a call through the link in my description. No pitch, no pressure, just honest advice about where you should actually be looking. Drop a comment below with the district you're most interested in. I read every single one. Like the video if this was useful. Subscribe for more content like this every week. And if my cousin is watching, call me back. I gave you good advice.